Welcome back. This is Lieutenant Gaming 57 and my third video about my Axis 1940 house rules and the third tech chart. Now, last video I made a video on the second tech chart, but the first one, second tech chart, I forgot to show you what I'm using for veteran infantry. So I'm just using the infantry from the old Axis allies for my veteran infantry, and I'm using the bombers for air transports. You can use whatever you want, whatever you have on hand. So with that settled, I'm also using poker chips for money. That's what I'm personally using. You can use whatever you want. Now, with that all settled, let's dive right into the first tech. Remember, all of these you must get 4 of the other 2 tech charts to get any of these. So we've got super heavy tanks. Now I know that this should be back on the other 2 tech charts, and super insanely massive tank should be up here. But when I was writing these, I was just writing the first thing that came to mind, so this should actually be over there. Then we've got electric engines and sonar. Electric engines allows a sub to retain all of its abilities even when next to a frigate or a destroyer or a light cruiser. And sonar negates the abilities of electric engines. So, super heavy tanks, let's look at them. Super heavy tanks attack with 1 die only at 9 and defend at 9. They move 1, they cost 11, and take 2 turns to build, and have 1 glance and 1 damage. So they're glanced, and then they're turned on their side, and then they're destroyed. So technically they have 3 hit points. Next, we've got genetically mutated dinosaur soldiers. So my idea came from Jurassic Park 7, the Indoraptor, or was it Jurassic Park 6? Whatever. The Indoraptor, that was my idea. I know, that's also insane, but I don't care. I just like having things that are insane. So, let's see if I can find it. Okay, here we go. So, dinosaur soldiers attack at 10, and they have a target select on a 6, because if you remember from the movie, that guy could just point a laser at somebody, and then he goes after him. So, defends at 9, target select on a 5, move 3, and can blitz, so that would be very handy to have. The only problem is if you roll 1, at the end of your turn you have to roll a 1 for every single dino soldier that you have, and on 1, that guy will go haywire and he attacks everything in that territory for 1 round. If there's nobody in that territory, then nothing happens. So then we've got cost 16 and takes 2 turns to build, and can move enemy territory undetected. So that's a pretty cool ability. So he can move through an enemy territory undetected, and he can stay in enemy territory undetected. And if the enemy tries to attack him, he only gets 1 round of combat, and to even attack him, he has to get an 11 or a 12. So that's the Dino Soldier for you. Then we've got missiles. Right there. Missiles. That's different than V2 rockets. And that is, oh my god, why is that on a 7? Oh no, that's an 8. Never mind. 8 or plus. And actually that should be a 9, but whatever. So, missiles. You have different types of missiles. So you've got SAM batteries. I have yet to make rules about them yet, but as soon as I do, I'll let you know. Seawolf, Tomahawk, cruise missile, and ballistic missiles. So ballistic missiles attack at 8 with 1d12 damage to a facility, and they have a target select on a 3. They cost 7, and I'm going to have to bring that down because it's not really worth it. Because if you think about it, if you're not doing damage to a facility, you shoot these at some soldiers, say they're infantry, and then you hit them with 4 guys. You hit 4 guys all the time, and then that costs you $24, $28, and you only killed $12 worth of infantry. It doesn't make sense, so I'm going to have to lower the cost of these. Can be shot by AA on a 2, or a 1 on a D6. Cruise missiles, attack at 6, 1d6 damage to a facility, target select on a 6, so he basically gets to target anything he wants. Range 8, oh yeah, range is 12 for the ballistic missile. Cost 5, and I don't know why that's there. Hold on. Cannot be shot by normal AA, so they can be shot by SAM batteries, but like I said, I haven't fully fleshed this out yet. Tomahawk missiles attack with 3d12 dice on an 8, and they do 2d12 damage to a facility. They get range 14, and they cost 10, but again, I'm going to have to lower the cost of this. Cannot be shot by normal AA. Seawolf attacks at 7, only against ships. This cannot be shot against infantry, land units, or facilities. Range 6, cost 6. Again, I'm going to have to lower this. I think that's what I was doing right there. Other can only be fired from frigates, destroyers, cruisers, heavy cruisers, fast battleships, heavy battleships, super heavy battleships, fleet carriers, super heavy aircraft carriers, and battle cruisers. Wow, that was a lot of ships. Ballistic missiles cannot be fired at ships. And then you've got ships cannot fire AA against any missiles unless you have Vulcan Phalanx Tech, which I'll get to in a second. And that is it. So, oh yeah, counter missile battery, 2 IPCs per missile. So counter missile battery, you can see each of my missiles. This is a Tomahawk. No, not a Tomahawk. This is Seawolf because it's blue. You can get a counter missile battery for 2 IPCs, and that's what this is. I've just inked a few little bitty missiles right here, and they get 3 dice on 4s and can only be fired from ships. So you get 3 dice, and you're trying to take out any missiles that are attacking you. So I'm going to keep 2 IPCs per missile. Each of these doesn't count as one missile. This is like a missile. So I'm probably going to keep the cost of that one. But the others I'm going to have to lower because that doesn't make sense. Then you've got laser weapons. Allows a battleship, super heavy battleship, or heavy battleship to... This only pertains to a battleship, heavy battleship, or super heavy battleship. You get +1 shot on any ship, and all ships above mentioned get target select on 3+. Also, I haven't written this down yet, but all the ships aforementioned get, if they shoot and get target select on 3, then they get to one-shot any battleship, anything that's any capital ship. So they could one-shot a super heavy battleship, even though it has 2 glance of damage, and then you're destroyed. So you get +1 shot. I don't know what that means, so I'm gonna have to delete that and think about that for a second. Then we've got Vulcan Phalanx. So that is this here. So against cruise missiles, which are red, these are cruise missiles. It hits on 5. Against Tomahawk missiles, which are gold. Let's see if I can find one. These. Hits on 3. Against Seawolf missiles, blue. I already showed you those. Hits on a 2. And Vulcan gives you 5 shots per missile against any missile attack, not against air units. So Vulcan cannot attack air units. And that is Vulcan Phalanx. Then we've got Robot Warriors. Again, probably way too much, way overpowered. But I don't care. So RB 1000 attacks at 8, defends at 6, moves 2, and can blitz. Costs 8, has 1 damage. If damaged, roll a d10 at the end of your turn. Where the point sticks out on a d10. Okay, so roll a d10 at the end of your turn, where the point sticks out, and this is only if the robot is damaged. So if you roll a d10 and the point, this point, he sticks this way, then the robot will move from that territory into a territory that is adjacent. So it will attack anything in that territory, even if it's your own troops. So if it's pointing back to your own line and the robot moves back to your own line, he only moves one territory though. Then he will attack your own troops. So that's a downside to having robots. RB2000 attacks at 10, defends at 5, moves 3, and can blitz. They're basically robot cavalry. Cost 12. Other has 1 glance and 1 damage, and the same rule as the RB1000. The RB3000 are basically walking artillery batteries. They attack with 3d12 at 10, defend at 1d12 at 2. They move 1, they cost 16 and take 2 turns to build, and can bombard 1 territory away at a 5. No damage. So that means that whereas the cavalry has 1 glance, 1 damage, this guy can just be destroyed by 1 hit. And same rules as the RB1000. So that's Robot Warriors. I might delete that one. And Space Marines, I'm still working on this. If I ever get Risk Warhammer 40,000, then I'm going to use those Space Marines. The rules for that I'm working on in my head are you roll a d20, and you can move any amount of infantry into a territory that contains a major industrial complex in your home country. And you roll a d20 for each of those infantry only, and they can be veteran infantry, and they can be motorized or mechanized infantry. On a 20, they become Space Marines. That's it. But I haven't worked out what their attack and defense values would be. Nuclear weapons must have nuclear energy. So let's do nuclear energy first. Gives you 5 free tech dice per major industrial complex and 3 per minor. 4 IPCs extra for any ships extra IPCs. Any ships can move an extra space. So that was the nuclear energy that you keep seeing on my ship stats. Then we've got the bomb. This lowers the IPC value of the territory by half, and all adjacent territory values by 1, which is pretty powerful. Must be transported by a destroyer, a bomber, or a transport, or a mech infantry. Maxes all damage on the target facility. Costs 4, 4, and 4, so it takes 3 turns to build, and it costs $12. Attacks 2d12 damage on the units in the area. And you may not place units on the target area for 3 turns. No units may enter the territory for 3 turns, and units may leave the area. So that is very powerful. You can see that the lines here, I've got 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and that's because it takes way longer to develop the bomb than any other tech. So then we've got nuclear weapons, and you must have nuclear energy. For all battleships and battlecruisers, any battleship class unit may bombard for the first round up to 2 spaces inland, supporting an attack. Also may shoot 1 space away for any ships before attacking. So that means that you've got your battlecruiser and he's going to attack a territory. He can bombard that territory, that sea zone, before he moves in to attack. So that's very, very powerful. Also, might be overpowered, but let me know what you think in the comments. Thank you for watching.